Before European ships arrived on African shores, before colonization changed the course of history, there existed a powerful kingdom deep in the forests of West Africa. A kingdom so organized, so wealthy, and so advanced that early visitors could hardly believe their eyes. This was the Benin Kingdom, a civilization of kings, warriors, artists, and builders, whose story is both inspiring and heartbreaking. This is the rise and the fall of Africa's forgotten empire. More than 1,000 years ago, in what is now southern Nigeria, small communities lived among thick forests and fertile lands. These people farmed, traded, and worshipped their ancestors. But they wanted something more: stability, leadership, and unity. According to oral tradition, the people invited a prince from the ancient Yoruba city of Ife to rule them. His name was Aramian. His son, Yuka I, became the first Oba, meaning king, of Benin. And from that moment, a dynasty was born. The Oba was not just a political leader. He was seen as sacred, a bridge between the spiritual world and the people. Loyalty to the Oba meant loyalty to the kingdom itself. Slowly, Benin began to grow. As centuries passed, Benin City transformed into one of the most impressive cities in the world. Wide streets stretched in straight lines. Homes were carefully arranged. Massive walls surrounded the city for protection, walls so enormous that some historians believe they were longer than the Great Wall of China. Imagine this: deep red earth walls rising high above the land, protecting a thriving civilization inside. European visitors who arrived in the 1400s described Benin City as clean, organized, and larger than many cities in Europe at the time. At the center stood the royal palace, a vast complex filled with courtyards, pillars, and sacred spaces. Benin was not a primitive society. It was structured, disciplined, and sophisticated. The kingdom reached its greatest power between the 1400s and 1600s. Under strong Obas, especially Oba Uwere the Great, Benin expanded its territory and strengthened its government. Trade flourished. Benin merchants exchanged pepper, ivory, cloth, and palm products with Portuguese traders who arrived by sea. In return, they received metals and new goods from across the world. But what truly amazed outsiders was Benin's art. Benin artists created breathtaking bronze sculptures, carved ivory masks, and detailed plaques that recorded royal history. These artworks were not decorations. They were historical records. Each bronze told a story: victories in battle, royal ceremonies, and the greatness of the Oba. Even today, historians consider Benin bronzes among the finest artworks ever created in Africa. Art, power, and culture blended into one identity. Benin was not just surviving, it was thriving. The kingdom operated through a complex system of chiefs and councils. Laws were respected. Festivals honored ancestors. Rituals connected the living to the spiritual world. The Oba rarely appeared in public, making his presence mysterious and powerful. Warriors protected the land. Traders strengthened the economy. Craftsmen preserved culture. Every citizen had a role. For centuries, stability allowed Benin to prosper while many regions faced constant conflict. But history teaches us something important. No empire remains untouched forever. By the 1800s, the world was changing rapidly. European powers were expanding across Africa, searching for resources, trade routes, and control. The British Empire, one of the most powerful forces on Earth at the time, turned its attention toward the rich lands of Benin. British officials wanted greater trading access and political influence. But Benin resisted. The Oba at the time, Oba Oven Ramwan, sought to protect his kingdom's independence and traditions. Foreign interference threatened the balance that had existed for centuries. Tension grew. Misunderstandings increased. And soon, events would take a tragic turn. In 1897, a British delegation attempted to enter Benin territory despite warnings that sacred ceremonies were taking place. Conflict broke out, and several British officers were killed. The British Empire responded with overwhelming force. Soon after, a massive military expedition marched toward Benin City. Modern weapons faced traditional defenses. The result was devastating. British troops invaded the city, burning homes, destroying sacred sites, and forcing the Oba into exile. The royal palace was looted, and thousands of priceless artworks were taken away. The famous Benin bronzes, symbols of centuries of history, were carried across the ocean to museums and private collections in Europe. In just weeks, a kingdom that had stood strong for centuries collapsed. The fall of Benin marked more than a political defeat. It was the loss of independence, culture, and identity. The once great city became part of colonial rule. Traditions were disrupted. Power shifted away from the Oba. Yet the spirit of Benin did not disappear. The people preserved their customs. Stories continued to be told. Festivals survived, and the royal lineage endured. Even today, the Oba of Benin remains a respected cultural figure, reminding the world of a civilization that refused to be forgotten. The story of the Benin Kingdom challenges many old myths about African history. Long before colonization, African cities were organized, governments were structured, art reached extraordinary levels of mastery, trade connected continents. Benin proves that Africa's past is rich with innovation, leadership, and creativity. And today, conversations continue about returning the stolen bronzes to their rightful home, a symbol of restoring history and dignity. The rise and fall of the Benin Kingdom is not just a story about the past. It is a reminder that greatness can exist anywhere, that civilizations rise through unity and vision, and that history must be remembered so it is never erased. If you enjoyed this journey through history and want more powerful stories like this, stories of forgotten empires, legendary leaders, and real events that shaped our world, then subscribe to History with Joe and join us as we travel through time together. Because history is not just about yesterday, it is about understanding who we are today. Thank you for watching.